Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Chad GTM Podcast. It's Michael Beck and Chad Horn, Ink Tank GTM, here at the Mertech 2026 show in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Caesars Palace Hotel and Resort. But I'm here actually for something not about so much the show, but let's talk about how you show up. And I got one of my good industry friends who I've known for a long time, and actually starting to learn a lot more about him in the last year, to be honest. He was actually kind of an enigma for the last couple of years because this is a hardworking guy that might not always be out in the face, glad, shaking hands and being present the way that sales guys are. This guy's an expert networker. This guy is really smart about trade shows, how to execute, how to build up teams in a way that they know what their job is and that mission, that purpose, and how to really deliver on an event. Did I overpromise that?
No, I said, let's set the bar high. Let's go big.
All right, let's go big or go home. And that's actually what this is all about. Go big or go home. Don't go to a show if you're not going to show up. And with us today is Michael Sien. Michael Sien, welcome to our show.
Oh, it is. I can't. This is the highlight. It's always the highlight to be with you guys.
It's refreshing. I got your name right for the first time
That's
ever.
quite right. That's right. 4 letters. People have been getting it wrong for years. I'm used to it.
It's easier to say than spell.
I don't.
Correctly.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I will say to people, they say it's good to see you, and I say it's good to be seen. See how I play that?
But when I've gone with that before, and I'm like, it almost makes me feel like I'm not saying it's good to see them back. Yeah, it's good to be seen.
Yeah, I'm just playing off the name.
Oh yeah,
so.
sorry about that. Okay,
No worries.
So let's dig in. Let's first off you started a new venture, right? You were at one of the eminent POS solutions in the industry, Q. And today you're still helping Q by the merit of your core competency and superpower, we'll call it, right?
Okay.
And that is helping them get their trade show act online, making sure that they're nailing it every time. And now you've decided to productize that as your own business. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do now, or what you're doing now.
And what it's called.
So
I think I've said it a bunch of times. Let's make sure. Yeah.
So the company is called For Show.
A show.
And that name came off a podcast when I heard it said. I'm like, that's the name right there. So the iteration on spelling and all that took forever.
Yeah.
But it's really entrenched in, as you said, how do exhibitors, whether they be brands or technology companies, prepare, execute, and follow up on a show? It isn't just slap up some hardware, throw up a backdrop, put a few people in there, and your funnel is going to be loaded. It's not the Field of Dreams style, right? There's a lot of work that goes into it, and having the honor of doing that and being an integral part of that for so long at Q, and having them be my first customer in my For Show life, has been fantastic. It's such a great company to be able to continue to work for. So it's great to be here and see all the brands, see what they're doing, see what they're doing well, see what they're not doing well, and just being that consultative, let me counsel you and coach you up on how to get more ROI and funnel out of your shows.
Love it. Chad?
So in terms of the work of doing a show well, something I learned from you and ask you to repeat here and expound on is, where is that work located? Before the show, at the show, after the show?
So yeah, I'd say 60% of the effectiveness is done on the prep. If you're doing the work up front, defining the mission, defining the theme, targeting a particular value, showcasing a differentiator, the way you engage at a show will be so instrumental in executing well at the show and build on excellent and easier follow-up. The follow-up is the hard part. Once you get out of here, they've seen 80 different companies, and now their inbox is being bombarded, and somehow you expect that you're going to stand out because you checked all the boxes.
Right.
No, that's not how it works.
So it always feels to me like people put too much emphasis, at least at the early stages, on booth design. We have to have a big fancy backdrop. We need lots of swag everywhere. We need lots of brochures. Where are they getting it wrong?
I think it's important that your booth represent the culture of your brand and your overall brand.
Sure.
I don't think it needs to be ostentatious and all of that. Like if these operators, they work in the trenches, they care about value, they care about efficiency, help me be better. And the showiness of your booth, I don't think it's really drawing people in, but you want an attractive, well constructed booth again that represents your brand. I would say the least valuable is any collateral. No one is going to take anything from your booth and read it. If you have that in your booth, throw it away, burn it, have a bonfire, sing like ninjas around it. Whatever. It's useless.
Right.
Most swag is also useless.
Dog toys?
It's nice for people who want to take things home to their kids, I guess.
Right.
But they're not going to work with you because you took home something cool for their dog.
No.
I would say focus on a premium swag collection that is hidden. And when you get a strategic engagement that you can then reach in and make it feel special, now you've made a connection, right? And give it something that constantly has your brand at the forefront of their thought.
And something they're going to use quite frequently.
Correct.
See quite frequently, right?
Give them something that they could use on all their Zoom calls.
Yeah.
So your brand is being seen. Things like that. Again, be intentional and strategic in what you do and how you do it.
And in the same vein, what's the stupidest piece of show swag you've ever seen that you think actually hurt the sales process?
Just the laziness of pens and squeeze balls.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I'm 61 years old. Those things were in vogue 40 years ago when I started doing shows.
Yeah.
Really? You've not innovated at all beyond pens and squeeze balls?
At least you don't see fidget spinners anymore.
Yeah, that was a fad thing in and out a couple of years.
Fidget spinners before, though. I just remember the one that we bought all these Sickum credit card holders that were supposed to, or ID holders that slapped on the back of your $1,000 phone. And when the thing wore out, you had gooey, nasty residue with your name on it.
Yeah, just be thoughtful.
Yeah.
And make it brand consistent. So that's part of the theme.
Okay.
So,
like, what's the state of the industry in terms of the disconnect between what vendors think they can do in terms of their level of execution at the shows and their actual ability to execute well at the shows?
I don't think they know enough. I think the challenges oftentimes are there are so many show options now that it's almost dizzying for the exhibitors and frankly the operators. Which ones do I go to? Each of the shows has a different target audience. It has a different role that it represents. It might be more ops heavy or marketing heavy or finance. All of those things have to be taken into consideration. Know your brand, know your value proposition and where you solve problems and make those shows that align with that the primaries. And then you can have a tier 2 and tier 3. You might sponsor but not exhibit, and you might just walk. Like all of those variables are in consideration. I think most exhibitors are just checking a box. They're like, well, this is how we've done it forever. It's one of my favorite stories ever I read in a book. Young couple goes to her house.
Okay.
Right. The first time he's meeting the whole family, and they bring out the pot roast for dinner, and it's in 3 different baking pans. And it's delicious. And the boyfriend says, wow, that was so great. Why do you carve it into 3 different pans? And the daughter's like, well, I don't know. Let's go ask my mom. And the mom says, I can't recall why we do that either. Let's go ask grandma. And grandma says, well, when I was little, we had a very small oven and it had 3 shelves and we didn't have enough room to put the whole roast in. So we had to put it in thirds to cook it. And here they are generations later with a giant oven still doing it that way because they've always done it. You got to think differently. You got to be innovative and stand out in an ocean of exhibitors. How do you do that?
100%. It also sounds like budget's a thing. At least to me, the budget isn't talked about enough. We're just going to go to show and go to show and go to show, and then they're out of money before they get to the end of the year. Do you think companies are budgeting correctly or thinking about how they allocate their dollars and spend to shows? Or is it more reactive? Oh, we have this one coming. We have this one coming. And then they're at the end of the runway before they know RLC, the one they really should have saved up for, is on the horizon.
I think it's reactive, but it's also competitive. Well, they're there. We should go.
Yep.
Like, well, they're going to be there. So we got to be there.
100%.
And that's going to get you next to nothing. Right. So I think sending the right, like, from a budget perspective, who are you sending and why? Okay, you're going to do a booth. Do you have to send 8 people or could you send 6?
Right.
Who are the right 6? Not just, and even executives. Like, I don't really need you here. I'd rather fire the executive bullet after the engagements get started because I get more bang out of my buck rather than have you walk them through a demo, right? I have people for that. How do I put the right people in the booth to get what we're trying to achieve and spend the least amount of money?
So let's talk about that. Let's say we the show's typically when you sign up for a show, you get a certain amount of passes. We got 3 exhibitor passes. We have a very big company. What's the perfect mix of role, personality, technical adeptness that should be in that booth?
You're always, depending on the level of exhibit products that you're showing, and I will counsel all these tech companies. I was talking to one of them earlier. I said, tell me all the things that I see here. Which one of them is the one that you only do? And he looked and he thought and he found one thing. I'm like, get rid of all the other stuff. It's just at parity. Who cares that you have a payment device? Everyone has a kiosk. You're not impressing anyone with at parity solutions. What they want to see is what are you doing that's different, unique to you? That's the thing that you want to showcase in your booth. And you need to have a technical person typically to make sure that it goes flawlessly. The second is you got to have a spotter, right? The spotter is the person on the roof who's canvassing, and they tell you, literally, you got to have like a signal method. Hey, someone's coming down aisle 2. That's Steve over at ABC brand. We want to get engaged with them. Go intercept him.
Yeah.
That kind of teamwork and strategy of hand signals where you're doing something that lets a team member know someone's in the area and I can't talk to them. Go find them.
Or who's dwelling in a competitor's booth that sells a similar product if they're shopping.
Yeah, and don't sleep on poaching.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on poaching. You want to watch your desired partners at other brands, at other booths. You know then that they're engaged in that kind of dialogue. Go get them.
Yep, absolutely.
So, because your competitors are doing it to you, I assure.
So how important is it to prepare the team or select the team that goes to the show based on their ability or preparing the ability to tailor the brand message to the person they're talking to based on their role or the specific brand? But they see a lot of poor execution of that. But how important is that?
It's super important. And first of all, the objective is not to sell at a show. The objective of the show is to learn and then get the message, get the meeting. Don't let them walk away without getting the meeting.
Yep.
So, for example, trade secret. I have my phone on calendar all the time, and we're talking, Chad, and you tell me a challenge that you're having. And I'm like, wow, I think we have a great story to tell on that, Chad. Typically, what day of the week is most open for you on your calendar? And you tell me Wednesday. I'm like, AM or PM better usually. And you're like, PM. I'm like, okay, Wednesday the 28th. It looks like I've got to 2 o'clock open. I'm going to send you an invite right now. Get your phone out, Chad. Yeah. Get it done then, because as soon as Chad walks away and gets delirious from all the other exhibits and then his inbox gets flooded, you're going to wonder why you never got a further conversation because you let him walk away.
Well, you're also messaging intentionality. The other guy asked for the meeting. The other guy got the meeting. Like, well, apparently he didn't care as much because he let me walk out the door with security the next step.
Correct. Right. So to your point, picking the right people that have the ability to do that professionally, but in a non-obtuse way is important. I would say most salespeople are useless at trade shows. They want to go to the bar. They want to meet all their old friends, and there are select few. The reason I like to get to know my brand so well is identifying those personalities that say, these 3 people are the best to go. And then fight it out.
Awesome.
So,
contentious question. Should companies allow their team to expense alcohol if they're not with a client?
I'm going to say no, because your objective is to be engaged over that alcoholic beverage with a prospect or client. And it's not really that hard.
Yeah.
These operators are not afraid to come up and have a beverage.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't even be at the show if you can't get a prospect or client to have a conversation with you at the bar.
Yeah.
So I would say no.
Okay. I agree too. Chad?
Well, I know we're at a busy show and we have our next guest waiting to get on, but what are you most looking forward to the rest of Mertech?
For me, selfishly, there are several technology companies I haven't been able to engage yet. I like the idea of this after dark party later.
Okay, yeah.
The energy at this year's Mertech is much elevated over last year.
100%.
It might be a little smaller in attendance, but the content is good. The energy is good. I think the operators came here with intentionality, and you can just feel the vibe. So continuing that for the next 24 hours, I'm looking forward to.
Love it. And right before we land the plane, a little moment of guilt, which I'm going to have to edit right after this. You had a question you wanted me to ask us to close this out. What was the question?
What is it I would like to do if money didn't matter that would surprise you?
All right.
Me?
So, question: what is it you'd like to do that would surprise me if money didn't matter?
So my dream job has always been, like, if I had a Make-A-Wish job that I could do, I would like to be the manager of a heel in WWE. Like a Paul Heyman or a Bobby Heenan. I would love to be the guy that everybody throws their sodas at because he just gets up there and causes trouble and wreaks havoc.
You're right. That would surprise everybody.
That'd be awesome. So fun.
You like being the villain.
So the last questions I always love to ask on this is, one, what's the next show you're going to be at? If people want to put warm hands and get to meet you, where are you going to be next?
I will be at the Bar and Restaurant Expo and the Pizza Expo and MUFC. All those three are happening sort of simultaneously. I'll be at all three of those.
Fantastic. And then lastly, if people want to get a hold of you or curious about the services you offer, want to engage and have a conversation, what's the best way for them to get to you?
Well, I would say LinkedIn is the best way to reach me. Okay. I'm not hard to find. You can text me. I'll give you, my number is 443-536-3417.
I may
shoot me a
text on the
text.
Screen.
Yeah, throw it up there. Reach out.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, this has been Michael Sien with For Show.
For Show.
For Show. I love that. And so, I think I got to go back and do something like The Last Dragon, like Kiss My Converse, Show Numb. Remember the Shogun of Harlem? I think I'm going to play on that next. Well, Deep Cuts with Michael Beck. He's old. But for now, everybody, the Chad GTM Podcast signing off, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Well done.
With our next guest. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you soon.
Bye now.
Thanks, Michael.